Hi there guys and welcome to another Palace Daily. Now, in my last Palace Daily, as you know, I talked about Zaha and the rumours about him leaving the club, being unhappy, talked about why Palace set the price so high on him, why they're demanding so much from other teams, if other teams want to put a bid in for him. I explained all of that and I thought that would be the end of that sort of scenario, but of course, surprise, surprise, it's not. People still on Twitter don't really get the idea of why the price is 80 to 100 mil, depending on what source you look at for Zaha, why we're demanding that much. And also, people keep on going on about he's going to be unhappy, you're stopping him having to move away. I don't think that's the case at all. And I honestly don't believe that he's going to be upset and frustrated with the club to the extent that he doesn't put in good performances if he does stay. I purely think that, obviously, he wants Champions League football. And I think to suggest he doesn't want Champions League football would be stupid from Palace fans, if to be quite honest, because we know he is of the ability of a top four, definitely top six side, or top six player, I should say. But then again, for those who are saying that because he wants that, that we're stopping him having to move away, I think is also wrong. We don't want to sell him. That's clear because he is our most important player and he means that much to us. And, you know, having him in the side pretty much guarantees our survival in the Premier League. To cut a long story short, with him in the side, we stay up. With him out of the side, there's less, the chances of us going down increase. Not saying that we would get relegated without him, but I think that we'd be looking over our shoulders more than looking up the league if we didn't have Zaha in the squad. And so that explains why the price is so high, as I mentioned in the last video. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about today was just purely this thing about Zaha being unhappy at Palace and being frustrated if and not putting in the performances if he doesn't get a move away. I think that he wants a move away because he wants Champions League football, whether that's now or at some point in the future. That wasn't specified. We don't even know exactly what Zaha said in that piece alone. I know that they were direct quotes, but you can't, we've seen with the whole Rob Harris thing with Guardiola, how sometimes quotes and in the build up to that whole scenario, quotes can be misleading, and you can have easily change around and articles and journalists can, and I know this from first hand, can twist words or to try and create a narrative to fit a piece. I've seen it and I've read about players in the past and how and it turns out being absolute rubbish because the player, although he said those words, well, if you carried on with the interview if you recorded an interview and you carried on listening, he'd then explain further down the line, a point to the contrary, and it kind of makes the point invalid that you mentioned earlier in the piece. So I don't take too much of these quotes. Like I said in the last video, until a bid comes in, I honestly don't care about this whole Zaha situation. Other news, I think Wan-Bissaka is definitely more likely to stay at Palace this summer. I know that he's got a lot of attention from Manchester United fans, and Manchester United fans are telling him, also Zaha, that Manchester fan who said come home in his tweet about Zaha, do one, mate, come on, let's be serious now, come home. He's South London through and through. But anyway, on Wan-Bissaka, I think if he's going to go anywhere, it would be United, because that's the place that the transfer news, that's the rumours are that's the most interested team, and I think the only team that really could fit in the top four and be starting straight away, potentially Spurs as well, but I don't know whether Spurs would pay the money for him or would have the transfer budget for a right back, transfer budget of that size for a right back, with Trippier also being in the side, and it looks like Pochettino's more than happy starting him every week. I'm more confident, though, that Wan-Bissaka will stay because of his age, because he's only had one full season in the Prem. I think we're the best place for him to play consistently week in, week out, and let him grow and continue to improve as a player. And then next summer, if he's still with the club, of course, next summer is obviously a big season and I think that it's almost the chance of him going double or even triple, to be honest, next summer. But I think I'm quite confident we'll keep Wan-Bissaka for this window. Zaha's the main one. But it's just annoyed me seeing more unhappy, on Twitter and social media, more talk about him being unhappy at Palace because he wants to move and Palace aren't letting him move. It's not the case at all. If he went to the right club, we'd as I said in previous videos, again, I'm repeating myself, but we'd wish him all the best and let him go out there and hope he absolutely kills it in the top 4, top 6, whether it's in this country or ideally abroad, so that we don't have to face him week in, week out, and he doesn't influence Palace at all. But Palace fans and the club would wish him well, and he deserves to be at that level. He is of that talent and quality. We'd obviously want to keep him as long as possible, which is why the transfer price is that high. It's not that we're stopping him having to move. It's that if we've got to get the right money in, the right price has to be set. The right offer has to come in before we can even acknowledge that move. And I think Zaha's not stupid. He must understand that. We've got to be getting big money because of the sell-on fee that United have, 20%, 25% sell-on clause. We've got to have that comes into consideration. The fact he's on he's still got 4 years left of his 5-year deal he signed last summer. Again, he knows these things. He must understand that. And as I said, understand that we've got to be looking for about 70 mil plus because of these factors. Because then we've got to bring in replacements for him, and we've got to get the right money, because he surely knows he's the best player we've ever had at Palace, or is one of the best players. He's loved and adored, and for him to go, he has to be replaced, and we have to invest properly if he goes. It's a big thing that will happen at the club if he does go. It's a massive moment in the club's history. What happens next? We've made a hash of it before when we got rid of Ian Wright. That's probably the closest example we've got. When he went to Arsenal, we didn't properly replace him or move on from that 1990 season. So we've got to make sure we don't make the same mistake twice. And that's why I think if you're Zaha, you cannot be unhappy. Surely he's got to understand the situation the club are in. It's difficult now to move him on. It's difficult for us to get a replacement. It's a lot of factors that are coming into play now. So I don't think he's unhappy at all. I think that's all rubbish, but I'd love to know your thoughts, guys. Another thing on Zaha, sorry if it's a bit repetitive, but that is the main transfer talk, I think, in the window right now is Zaha. Where's he going? Is he going to stay at Palace, etc.? I will be doing more transfer videos in the future. Last season, I remember doing them on Wilshere and Schürrle. Both ended up not coming to Palace, but it was really fun doing that, and I got some good responses in the comments from you guys, and some good suggestions as well. There are definitely some players we've been linked to that I'm interested in, so wink wink, a striker. So in the next few days I will be doing a new transfer series, if you like, over this transfer window, and getting into some of those topics and those players that you guys want to talk about. So comment below any players you'd like me to suggest in those transfer videos. I'd love to hear them. Some I'm probably going to be doing already, but most important thing, talking about Zaha, Wan-Bissaka, who would you rather have stay in this window? Do you think we can keep both? If one of them has to go, which one would you least like to leave if you had to pick between the two? I know it's a tough decision and you'd rather have both of them as a Palace fan, but yeah. And which club would you let him go to, more importantly? Would you let him go to a top 4 club? If so, which one? And if not, would you let him go abroad, and to which club would you like him to go abroad to? A lot of questions, a lot of points there. I tried to rattle through them as quickly as I could. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys. Love your support as always. Thank you. Keep it going, and I'll get some more videos out for you over the next few days. So like, share, subscribe. Hopefully we can keep Zaha and Wan-Bissaka.